Right, good evening everybody. Well, today some big news has come out, one day before I'm due to go to EGX, and that is that Sony are releasing a classic version of this. My personal favourite gaming console. It's the one that holds the greatest memories for me. It was my childhood from when I was 13, 14. I still play it to this day. I still use mine. It is an awesome piece of kit. This game's console changed my gaming world. Now, the mini concepts, I know that Nintendo brought it back with the Super NES and the NES. And, of course, the rumour is they're doing an N64 version as well, which is the classic games all on ROMs, very small versions of the consoles, HDMI output, save states, and generally a little bit of bonuses in them. Well, Sony have confirmed that they're going to have the game console out this year. It's coming out on the 24th anniversary of the console, so they've really timed that quite well. Now, we've got quite a few games confirmed for it. Biggest hitter for me is this. What I still believe is the greatest video game of all time. Shoot me in the comments if you want. I will fight you. This is one of my favourite games, and those, of course, who've watched my stream on it will know why. Also, I was really chuffed that this has been included. This RPG is one of the most underrated games ever. It's a cracking game that fuses the Wild West with a classic JRPG. It should not work, but it does. And it's brilliant. Other games confirmed include the seminal fighter Tekken 3, which is pretty much a no-brainer, and Ridge Racer Type 4, which I'm a bit not so sure on. Then there's a random game called Jumping Flash. I don't remember that one personally, but either way, that's coming to it as well. You're going to get some odd ones in the collection as well. Price is going to be in UK apparently $89.99, so that's in pounds. Now it sounds quite a lot of money when you think about it. Indeed, you know, $89.99 for what's theoretically a 24-year-old machine, given a little bit of a cosmetic dust-off. But if you think about it more carefully, if you say it's 10 quid for the actual unit with the HDMI outputs and everything else, you're technically only paying £4 for each game. Final Fantasy VII on the PlayStation 4 store is not £4. Not at all. And if you're trying to pick these up in the wild, a good version of this, for example, on disc, you're probably in the region of 20 quid by itself. I have seen some games going as high as 80 or 100 by themselves to the original discs. So for collectors, anyone who collects these things, they'll know for sure it's actually very, very expensive. I am going to definitely do all I can to get one of these PS1 classics. Now, you've seen me hold the console up, you've seen me hold the games. You might be wondering why. Two reasons. First of which, these games are all quite rare, particularly like if you've got the original prints like this one, for instance. This is not a platinum release, this is the original from way back, particularly on this one, 1997, I believe. Oh, say copyright 1994, yep, 1997. I don't think you'll be able to see it, but I'll try and get it in there, right where my finger is. These can be quite excessive. I've seen them going for £40 by themselves. So in terms of introducing gamers to the younger generation to these classics, it's an easy way. The second reason is it's going to have HDMI output. Now, having recently got a VGA to HDMI adapter for my Sega Dreamcast, still only outputs in 480p because that's all the console could put out in, but I can actually use my Hauppauge HD PVR2 to record footage from a Sega Dreamcast. Hence my Metropolis Street Racer clip. Simple plug. More streams of that coming later on. That's coming very shortly. But essentially, that tells me HDMI output, unless Sony do anything stupid with the encryption, which I really hope they don't, be able to output and record. Top bombing. So, game predictions. What do I expect? Well, I'm going to start with a company which most people will want me to put the SUC in front of. Yes, I'm talking about Konami. There are 3 games I'm backing to make it onto the collection, the first of which is this. Often referred to as the greatest PlayStation 1 game, I disagree, I've already said what my favourite is, but quite a lot of official lists and many games lists out there will put this very near the top. It's one of the most cornball and cheesy games ever, but it's awesome. I'd expect that to make the list. I'd also expect Castlevania Symphony of the Night to make it as well, purely because that was ported to PS3 and the Xbox 360. It got compatible with the Xbox One. It's not yet made it onto PlayStation 4, but that tells me the rights holder will probably agree some kind of share for that. A game I hope will make the list, but I'm not so confident, is this one. The original Silent Hill. A bit of a game that's not quite stood the test of time in some eyes, but still a game that's worth playing to see survival horror done that wasn't by Capcom. Which leads me into a segue to this next one, because there are a couple of Capcom games I hope to make the list. The first I expect is this one. One of the biggest selling games for the original PlayStation 1. Two reasons for this. First of which is that it's one of the most popular. Secondly, with the remake just round the corner, and I really hope tomorrow at EGX there's a playable build of this remake. I want to play it so much. This would be a fantastic way to advertise it. Getting this on there a couple of months before it comes out might well entice people to pick it up. So that'd be my choice. I'm also hoping, since they pulled the obscure RPG of Wild Arms out, we will get this. Breath of Fire 3. A brilliant RPG, wonderful style, still has the best Dragon Gene system. It's got the most balanced in terms of difficulty. The Master system in the way you learn skills is brilliant. The characters are really interesting. It features one of my favourite RPG locales in Kazahan, which is the city buried in sand. It's a brilliant RPG that I would love to see brought back. On racing games, Ridge Racer Type 4 is confirmed. I wouldn't be surprised if this makes the cut. Yep, Gran Turismo 2, and there's the proof. I found this for £4. So if it makes the cut, I'm bang on the money in terms of cost. But you can cook over to an HDTV without losing quality. Something you can't really do with this unless you've got a PlayStation 3. And even then it's only 480p. They might put the original on in its place. Who knows? I'd expect one of the Gran Turismo games to make it on, because that's pretty much Sony's baby. It's always been their franchise in many ways. If Microsoft, for example, put out an Xbox classic, which I don't think they'll do purely because of the backwards compatibility that you get on the modern consoles, there's no need for it, they would probably have put one of the Forzas, like Forza 1 or Forza 2 on there. Final game I'd like to make a bit of a curveball this, but with a unusual samurai game that's possibly a spiritual successor. I think this would be a cracking choice. I'll turn it sideways because I've just realised I've covered the label with my old price sticker from Game Station. Yes, showing my age here, it's a Game Station pickup. Oh yes, Tenchu Stealth Assassins. A game which is one of the first to be really graphic. It was almost like an unofficial brother in many ways of Metal Gear. Metal Gear had the more pacifist military style of stealth. This was much more brutal, using more traditional weaponry. And with Sekiro, which is another game I'd like to play, and hopefully that's going to be at EGX tomorrow, many have wondered if that's From Software possibly trying to bring Tenchu back via the back door. If so, I'd like to see it on the PlayStation 1 Classic. The one other game I want to see on there, which I tried doing a stream of, but I encountered some major encoding problems, so I had to let it go, unfortunately, is The Adventures of Alundra, which was basically an unofficial hybrid of the Legend of Zelda games and an old Mega Drive classic called Landstalker and the Saturn classic called Dark Savior. I'd like to see that brought on there as well. And again, it was a Sony proprietary one, so there's no reason why it can't be. But this video has highlighted one big problem. What games do you limit it to when you've only got 20? Because I just mentioned Resident Evil, I've mentioned Metal Gear, I've mentioned Tenchu, I've mentioned Tekken, I've mentioned Gran Turismo, I've mentioned Final Fantasy VII. What other games are out there that most people want to play? Well, I'll be honest, with the PlayStation 1, it's almost endless. There's so many that it's really difficult. Soul Blade? Yes, I'd love to have that on a more high thing, considering I've got Soul Calibur for the Dreamcast. Having Soul Blade, the original one, that'd be fantastic. Brilliant choice. What about if we've got the old point-and-click games like the Broken Sword games? They were classic games. You've got the Tomb Raiders. Not my personal fan favourite, but they were a game that were very big pioneers in that kind of style. I don't think we're going to see Crash Bandicoot purely because of the insane trilogy that came out on PlayStation 4. But who knows? They might want to put one of the Crash Bandicoots. What about EA's forgotten game character Gex? 3D and Enter the Gecko. Both very good rivals to Crash Bandicoot. Very, very good games in their own right. What about Wipeout? Ace Combat. There's so many out there of many different styles. I've not even scratched the surface. If I go into my collection now, I'd be pulling out the entire drawer and going, oh yeah, this would be good, this would be good, this would be good, this would be good. So this is the tough challenge that Sony have got to face. And of the 5 titles picked so far, 4 are instant wins. As I say, the Jumping Flash might be a great game. I just do not remember it. So for all I know, that could be a classic. And being in the UK, there are some games that did not make it to our shores. There's 2 games in particular, and since Final Fantasy VII's on there, here's my gauntlet to you, Sony. Bring us Parasite Eve and Xenogears. Then you will get my money. Guaranteed.